Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to do a part two to the EG indicators, which is the indicator system for futures day traders with key levels of support and resistance. So I was definitely wrong about this, and I'm going to show you why in a few minutes. So to start with here though, I just want to bring your attention to our free course, which is Learn How to Win 90% of Your Trades in 90 Seconds. This is completely free. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below, put in your email, and you'll get emailed the course. And I've seen information like this sell for $1,000 or more. So it's completely free. Definitely check it out. It'll be worth your while. So back to EG indicators. So EG indicators, like I talked about in my previous video, is a indicator series which is just support levels and resistance levels. So there's no buy and sell type of thing with your typical indicator that you'd expect. They have other stuff here, so I'm talking about the trigger point, which is these key levels like this. So these are support levels, these are resistance levels. Now, yesterday I talked about how I wasn't overly impressed because I was looking at just yesterday's daily levels. But it turns out you can actually look at different levels for previous days. So at the moment we're actually loading up the day before that. So this wasn't yesterday's, this is the day before that. Today's levels are still on there, and they weren't so good for ES. So we're looking at ES on the 5 minute here. And what you can do is you can actually look at days all the way back to 5 days before. So you can backtest it kind of, and you can look at different levels. And so while I wasn't overly excited about the levels on ES yesterday, the day before that was actually pretty solid, as you can see here. So this is the first bounce off the support line, which was almost to the single tick like they're talking about. And then again, which it really did just bounce off exactly. So you can see you could have played a reversal here or a reversal here. And you could argue that maybe it tested the first resistance line up here. But you can see this looks a lot better than the data that I showed yesterday, where it just blasted up through the resistance lines and to the point where it'd be unplayable. So what I thought I'd do is I'd check ES and look at the last 5 days using their convenient system here, which allows you to look at the different days. And I put them in different colors, but found it easier instead of going through manually and showing you on here. I took screenshots and put them into PowerPoint for you. So let's look at ES here. So this was the one I just showed you. So this was Thursday. So like I said, this is actually really nice. So I haven't color coded them, but the lower lines are support lines, the upper lines are resistance lines. The colors will change a bit as I show you this data. So this was October 3rd, and this was actually really nice. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty accurate. Here's the day before that, so October 2nd, you can see the first test, and they talk about the first test of the day being the most important and most likely to bounce. So again, you can see a bounce here, bounce here. We did go through a little bit here, but it did bounce. We didn't get anywhere near resistance though, but this is pretty nice. I mean, this is definitely playable. You know, this is definitely obeying this line pretty well. So I'm more impressed looking over those 2 days, and then this was the next day. This one was actually a resistance level, so you can see the 2 resistance levels up here. The first test of the day did reject really nicely. The support levels didn't hold up as sharply as the previous days though, so you could argue this maybe isn't quite as nice. But this test of the first test of the day on the resistance level actually played out really well. And if you want to buy this indicator, just check the description below. I've put a link where you can go and get it for $29.90 for a 2-week trial on it. After that, it's fairly pricey, but it does seem to be pretty accurate. I showed you results yesterday on gold, and then ES I'm looking at the moment. So here's another example, the first test of the day. So always the thing they talk about is the first test of the day actually bounced pretty nicely, and you could have taken a few moves on here. So this is something you could use with like a prop firm or something just to scalp intraday. These levels are only good for that particular day. That's why I'm having to show you the different screenshots. And this is all the way back to September 30th now. You see the levels kind of held, maybe a little bit wishy-washy here. The resistance levels held pretty well, but really all you're looking at is the first bounce of the day. That's what they really say is the strongest way to play these. You can play them anytime, obviously, but the strongest tends to be the first of the day. So the first of the day was this one right here. So you can see this was September 29th, so 5 days ago. And we got a nice bounce. It really just wicked to the level right here and then bounced all the way up. Pretty nice. So that's 5 days of data on ES. I can't check any further back than that. But honestly, I'm quite impressed with this now. I think just looking at one single day is definitely not enough to draw any conclusions. But looking at the last 5 days, you could have made money from this playing the bounce from support or the rejection from resistance on this. So pretty simple, but pretty good. So yeah, check out the links in the description below if you want to buy this, and I'll talk to you guys soon.